Hey everybody, welcome back. This video is for a subscriber in Europe who's building a Highlander and reached out asking for some possible dimensions on the push-pull tube that I made that runs underneath the baggage compartment. And Thomas, this is for you. I hope this helps rather than confuses you. The reason that I ran it under the baggage compartment, you can see I don't have the front panel in here right now, but originally there was a bushing like this one down here, and one here. And then Just Aircraft supplies this piece to go over the top of it as the push-pull tube runs here on top. But having this stick up in the middle of your baggage compartment kind of made a lump and hard to put anything that was flat down on the floor. And the only reason they do this is to keep anything from impinging on this push-pull tube that runs from the control yokes all the way back. You can see it back in there in the back. So this is what I did. There's a couple of things to look out for on this. Right now the control sticks are in the neutral position. So I had to relocate a bushing down here, one here, and there's another one back underneath the floor back there. This was extremely hard to get into place once I made the bends in it. Just has a nice straight push-pull tube, runs straight back, no bends, easy. It's just you have to put that over the top of it, and I didn't want to do that. The dimensions that I give, I get my paper out here, and I hope this helps. This angle is exaggerated a lot. It's really quite subtle, but there is a difference, and and if you look, this and this portion running underneath the baggage compartment are not parallel with one another. You can see there's 156 degrees in this bend, 152 in this one. This dimension is from the center of the bend, each one of these. From the center of the bend to the very front, which would be up here. Actually, it's the actual bolt that sticks out of the front of the push-pull tube here that comes up in here that the clevis actually threads on. I'm measuring from the front of the bolt to the center of this bend. That's 20 inches, should be about 508 millimeters. Then I end up with 4 5/16 inches from the center of this bend to this one, or 109.5 millimeters. And that's going from center here to center here. I'm not including the dimensions going from here back because there's some changes that I would do back in the back that I would recommend. So any dimensions that I give there wouldn't be accurate for you. And actually this is for the XL fuselage. I don't know if you have the standard or the XL. If you had the standard, then the dimensions change. I think the cockpits for both standard and XL are the same, but to check on yours, from the center of this tube measuring straight back to here, not down here. Here, center of this tube, is 37 inches. So if you measure that across there, then these dimensions here should work for you. These were the hard ones to figure out. The back ones, once the tube was in place, that was a lot easier to figure out back there, and I'll go over that in a minute. The tube has to be inserted from the back of the plane to the front. You can't insert it from the front and go backwards with it because of the bends in the back. You would never get it through these bushings. You might get it through this one, but you wouldn't get it through that one, and the next one back would be impossible. As it is, you can see I skinned the powder coat trying to get it to come in as it is now. It was really difficult to get it through here. And you can see I also skinned the powder coat here, trying to get the front end all the way pushed up past that. The one thing you do want to look for here is that if the control stick is pulled all the way back, I've got about 3/16, 4 millimeters of clearance between this tube and the push-pull tube. If I go forward with the yoke, I've got every bit of half an inch to 14 millimeters of clearance here. Not a problem there. In the neutral position, right about there, there's still about 4 millimeters, 3/16, something like that, clearance here. So it never contacts this tube. The back dimensions, and I'll show you what I did and how I would change it. Right now, if you look close here, the tube is pretty well centered in that steel bushing. But if I rotate it one direction with the yoke pulled back, it still stays pretty well centered. But if I go the other way with it, you can see it gets really tight here. I will never be able to put the nylon bushing inside this steel sleeve. It would cause this to bind up too much. And the way I would get around that now is that I would increase or change this and make this a little sharper bend here so that it comes up this direction more. And this piece, get that out of the way, this piece coming here and from here, this direction, would be parallel with one another, this and this. Mine comes up, but once it gets to this radius here, direction, that's a little exaggerated that way. It should be parallel with this. And I think that would help with this trying to bind here. I'm not worried about it. This steel sleeve is just kind of a guide for it, so it can't move. Some people are going to frown on the idea that actually we bent that piece of chrome moly tubing to make that work. And yes, a straight push-pull tube, full distance from the front all the way to the back, running across the baggage compartment floor, yes, is stronger and will always be stronger, but these bends are so slight that I'm sure I still have a more than 20-to-1 safety factor on this. The controls on the Highlander are extremely light. The servo back there has a maximum of 3 pounds of force, and it is more than enough to move the elevator. So at that, I'm pretty comfortable with this. I would recommend making the kind of a pattern piece first. Make it out of a piece of 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter round steel stock, solid, soft material, so that you can bend it and you can try it, see how it fits. And if you don't like the angle, you can straighten it and rebend it again until you get it just the way that you want it, so that you end up with clearances everywhere. I could have made a little bit of a shallower bend here and here by moving my bend up here for this one, and then as it moves back, moving this bend back here. So this has been a little bit longer. You can do that too, but this worked out for me. Using a piece of 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter round stock, you can even thread it up here in the front, so you can thread the clevis on the end of it, and you can actually check then with your control yokes to see how it moves back and forth down here, and that it goes through smoothly. Right now, I have no friction whatsoever as I move these forward and backward. They're very, very smooth. The only friction that I have at all is because of the servo exerts a little bit of friction on it. So that part works out. I'm hoping the dimensions work out for you. Those are pretty darn close, and I think they'll work. This is, you can see pretty much how those angles finally work out. This was a test piece that I did. I moved and bent this using heat to bend that. I don't recommend that. I think that's dangerous. I think that there's too much chance of creating a soft spot or a hard spot in it and it kinking at the wrong time. So I made up my own bender, and this is the tool that I ended up making, and it actually worked pretty well. Made it out of scrap materials. Let me get over on this side here. This piece gets mounted in a vise, nice and solid. This and this piece back here in the back are mounted solid. They do not move. This bolt on the top is the pivot point for this piece. This also needs to be quite tight. You want this radius in there that the tubing goes through to be as tight on that tubing as you can absolutely get it. If you make that where it's too loose, you run the risk of kinking the tubing as you try and bend it. So the tubing comes through, comes out this side, and this, as it rotates around, bends the tubing to this radius. It's pretty simple. It's a little loose right now because I haven't used it in a long time, but you want that in there as tight as around the tubing as you can absolutely get it. And it doesn't hurt it to grease it a little bit too. It does bend around pretty simple. That's what I have. You can kind of see I've got messes in the shop. Yeah, there, I got stuff on the floor. I got stuff on the floor here. I've got more stuff up there, all over my bench. So some things are kind of a work in progress around here. I'm still waiting for 2 more items to come, and then I can really start organizing this place the way I want it. This has been a long time in coming, and I haven't been able to work on the plane much because of it. But Thomas, I hope this works for you. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I will try and re-explain if I can. Anyway, I hope you're all having a great day. I am. And I'll talk to you a little bit later. See you later. Bye.